My brother and I started our own business about 5 years ago, literally sold everything I had, moved back into our parents' home. From there, we grew our first business into 13 countries, all 50 states, less than 2 years. So we know a thing or two when it comes to marketing.
Well, what if I post a video, it doesn't get that many views, and then everyone makes fun of me? It's like, how is everyone gonna make fun of you?
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Oh, it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, let's just focus on getting the attention.
Yeah, because most people don't even know what a successful life looks like. They've never sat down and defined what success looks like for them. Most people recycle the same 12 months until they die.
Guys, we are back for episode 11 with a guy who's figuring out something we all, I think, need to figure out. Nick, welcome to the show.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm excited to share some things, and it's great being back in Ohio.
Yeah, so we had not met before this episode. I've seen this guy online. There's a lot of people coming into the AI space, but I would say he's probably the most consistent I'm seeing. And I think he's got a track record to show that, he's not just some guy guessing it, trying things on his own. So give everyone a little backstory. So obviously AI has not been around forever. When did you kind of first start getting into your little entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, so it actually started, I guess you could say it started, I was actually right down the street from the studio that we have here. I would start calling 15 hours a day. So for real estate agents, I would call all over the country, 8 a.m. on the East Coast to 8 p.m. on the West Coast. I'd be calling in the South, so I'd have to call like this and slow it down and do all these different things. But then my brother and I started our own business about 5 years ago. We sold everything we had. I had my PS3, my car, literally sold everything I had, moved back into our parents' home. From there, we grew our first business into 13 countries, all 50 states, less than 2 years. So we know a thing or two when it comes to marketing, right? And then from there, we just continued to grow our business. We got into great masterminds, great groups, and we really found our niche in helping real estate agents create content, create marketing, run their entire marketing departments through our services. At one time, we had a 7-bedroom content house in Orlando where clients would literally fly from California to New York City down to us in Orlando. We'd shoot like 60 days worth of content, kind of like what we do here, right? We would shoot content with them. They would fly out. We would identify who are they speaking to, who's their audience, and help them create content. And then something happened when AI came out, 2022, dropped. I was like, holy shit, my marketing team and all my copy. At the time, we had a full team of copywriters, graphic designers, video editors, the whole works on the back end. And I started looking at this, I'm like, dude, we're going to be extinct if we don't make a transition. So we did. And from there, we cut 80% of our overhead, 80% of our staff, and we created the world's very first AI certified agent. From there, we've been featured on like Forbes, Fox, USA Today, the work we're doing in the real estate industry. And it's just solely focused on creating the evolution of the real estate agent.
Yeah, what was the emotion? Because I think everyone in marketing, whether they want to admit it or not, has the night when they knew. What was your night when you knew?
Man, all right, yeah. So the night, are you talking about like the AI certified agent or just?
The night when you knew things aren't going to be the way they are.
I would say it was during that transitional period with the AI certified agent. AI came into the fold. I knew that AI was going to make a huge difference, especially when there's members on my team coming back and telling me like, look, this used to take me 4 days. I got it done in 10 minutes. Yeah. I was like, shit. They kept bringing it to me and saying like, look, I need more work to do because it used to take me this long to do things. And now I started looking at some of the other people on the staff. I'm like, damn, it sucked when we let go of like 10 people in one day. Yeah. Wasn't a fun day. Kind of was on the other flip side of it, but it's not fun letting anybody go. Yeah. But there was a night when we were figuring out what we were going to do with AI, and we were figuring out how we wanted to approach this entire thing, and just something clicked. And we were like, you know what? We need to help real estate agents do all the things that people were paying us thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to every month. We can now teach every agent in the country how to do this for less than $150 a month. Yeah. Like it's like using the tools that we could teach them. That's when something clicked. I'm like, dude, every agent needs to know how to do this. And we created the world's first AI certified agent. But there was just that night when I'm like, we're going to be obsolete if we don't make this change.
Yeah. What do you think is the big resistance for a lot of marketing guys that don't want to touch any AI at all?
Because they're fucking scared of being replaced. They don't like, it's scared because you built this skill over all these years of trying to figure out how to do more emails, how to do more videos, how to create content, all the thousands and thousands, dude, because we spent tens of thousands of dollars on courses, on marketing courses, Frank Kern, Billie Jean, like you name it, we've bought it. And then it's like, wait a minute. So all those things I bought, I have to learn to use with AI.
Yeah.
And it's like a whole new skill and a whole new field. And all these people are scared of being replaced when in reality, they could be the ones replacing other people if they make the shift soon enough. Yeah. But I think it's just too many people are so nearsighted and so like, oh, but I've spent all this money, time, and energy. Well, guess what? Spend it on something else now.
Yeah. And I think an interesting thing I'm noticing with it is there's kind of the one camp that's like, I don't want to use this because I'm going to be replaced. But then there's the other camp that treats it as, my job was never to press the button. It was to be marketing. And now this is a power tool.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. And it's, dude, it's just one of those, like, how you use AI will determine your future in business world, period. You know, Sam Altman actually came out with this quote, and I thought it was very intriguing. And he said, he's in a group chat with a lot of his SEO or CEO friends, and they have an ongoing bet right now of when the first solopreneur will become a billionaire because of AI. And to me, that just shows the power of these tools that they're creating and also the purpose behind them as well. Because these people, Sam Altman, the owners of OpenAI, and these people are creating these tools that a solopreneur can now become a billionaire. It is some of the most powerful tools in existence, in human existence. It's the advancements of human technology now present in our world. And I think too many times with commercials, TV, and social media, the next, like, we see an ad for freaking ShamWow, and it's the advancement of technology with ShamWow. And we're so immune to hearing this thing that even as something as big as artificial intelligence comes into it, people are like, oh, that's a passing fad. And it's just funny how it works.
And I think it's one of those that people can't deny, because when the internet fad happened, there was like the up and then the down, and now we're still seeing the up. Whereas with AI, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if we've had a down yet, and it's been 2 years.
Yes and no. So I think here's what I see is happening. Like, from my experience from working with real estate agents, when it first came out, people were going gangbusters. Like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing ever. And most people were freaking amateurs using it and were mistaking speed for quality. So there was a bunch of people who didn't know how to use it, weren't trained how to use it, went in there and said, write me a post for a buyer. And oh my gosh, look how fucking cool it is. And all of a sudden they were sitting there and they're like, oh, the results stunk. And then people online could pick apart like, oh, that was written by ChatGPT. And then I saw a bunch of amateurs ruin it for a lot of other people. So I did see a little bit of a downturn, the original hype. And there's a lot of people that are saying like, oh, it's not that great really. Oh, you could tell if it's written by ChatGPT. A lot of people poo-pooing on it basically.
Yeah, so if you see someone with a Facebook post where there's 2 asterisks and then it says be inspired by, you know that's probably, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, if you know how to train it correctly, like, and that's where it all comes down to. You have, like, people, I don't think they have the depth of vision. Mm-hmm. They look at ChatGPT as something you go to and you get a direct result from. And that's like,
you think they see it too one-to-one?
Yes, exactly. It's too much one-to-one where I go to it because I have this problem and then I leave. But what they don't understand is you have to treat ChatGPT as your lifelong assistant, your lifelong employee. Because let me ask you this. If you've hired people, you have people on your staff, right? If you hired someone, you didn't give them any training, what would the result be?
Turnover.
It would suck, and you would never go back to them. Most people are not training their employee, which is ChatGPT, and then expecting a great result. And when they don't get one, they say ChatGPT sucks. No.
So do you think that's the same thing as a bad boss saying all employees suck?
Exactly. That is 100% it. And you have to look at ChatGPT as your lifelong employee. Depth of vision. Like, ChatGPT is an employee that once you train it to do something once, you never have to retrain it again. So then you have to ask yourself, how good of trainer can I be? How good of training can I get this thing to get a desired result?
So do you think that there's actually a huge weakness in AI that most people don't talk about, which is just general leadership?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because they don't know what they really want, but they want AI to do the thinking for them.
So a formula I try to have my team do is human, robot, human. And what I mean by that is take an original human problem, give it information, let the robot do what the robot's good at, and then give it human eyes one more time so it doesn't have the robot taste. So, like, obviously, I'm sure you've got way more in-depth formulas than that, but...
Yeah. No, I think that's pretty bang on. You know, it's like you have to clearly identify what you're looking to get out of it, the human first. Go to the robot to help you fill in the missing pieces in it or formulate new ideas and almost get the writer's block out of your head. And then you can look over it one more time before you post it, use it for content or advertising.
Yeah. One of the coolest things I think that you just reminded me of was when ChatGPT first came out and the prompts were getting unique where you could say like, write in this person's voice.
Yeah.
There's a lady named Colleen I work with in Baltimore where I said, write it in the style of Colleen Rippey's voice. And it did.
Really?
And it was because she had been an active Facebook poster for, I want to say, since 2015.
Wow.
And that was actually a motivation point for me where I was like, I want to put enough content out that it can actually know how to write like Alex Regueiro.
Yeah. And I think that's where it's just intriguing, all the different ways you can use it. But I also think that's the reason why a lot of people aren't using it. They just don't know where to start. There's a million different things you could do with it. And that's the dangerous thing. There's a million things you could do with it. You can stay up till 5 a.m. drinking Monster energy drinks and creating cartoon versions of yourself and wake up and be like, what the fuck did I just do last night?
How do you help people avoid the shiny object syndrome with AI? Because it's all shiny right now.
Yeah, it's all, yes and no. Like most of the things that you see online are shiny because most people are going wide, not deep. So what we help people do is go deep with it. What I mean by that is wide. Here's a cool tool to use. Oh, and you could do all these cool things with it. Here's another cool tool you can do. Look at all the cool things you can do with it. And they're like, all right, what tools can I actually use to save time and make more money? Right? Like, and then what systems can you create while using these tools? Look at the life that you're already creating. If you did not add anything new to your plate, how can we put AI into this, this, and this to take your time and bring it here? Yeah. And do more things that make you money. Because like, look, for real estate agents, what makes you money? Getting in front of people and getting listings, right? How do you use AI to take all that time behind a computer away? So that way you can spend more time getting in front of people and actually communicating.
What do you think is something that kills you to see people still manually doing where they're like, I don't want to give that to AI yet?
Writing listing descriptions, writing your promotion for your listing online. Like, because I see people like just listed and they're like 3 beds, 2 baths, check it out. I'm like, that is shit. That is the bad marketing. It's like most real estate agents didn't get into the business to become copywriters, right? Sure. So it's like, so we created a tool. It's called My Listing Buddy. It's free to use. People can go to ChatGPT and use it. You literally just take your listing description, plug it into it, and it writes you 2 Facebook posts, 2 Instagram posts, 2 emails, a YouTube script, and it knows keywords, headlines, description, and all these things. And it writes you a Facebook ad, and all you have to do is click enter. Yeah. So like for me, it's just like, let AI, like when you train it correctly, when you know the right tools to use, it kills me seeing people trying to market their listing and they just don't know how to market because it's not the best agent who wins. It's the best marketer. Just like in any business, it's not the best product that wins. It's the best marketer. Yeah. So you're marketing yourself.
Yeah. People buy what they know. Not what's always the best.
Exactly.
Yeah. How have you as Nick made sure that you don't get distracted by the wide? Because I'm sure you've been tempted, and granted, this is only 2 years in, so I'm sure if we talk in 2 years from now, this is a whole different combo, but how do you not get distracted by the go wide?
Great question. So it was actually something my brother and I did when we were in Sarasota, right? So it like we had a unique experience in Las Vegas, and we won't get into that, but there was we had a business conference, and we came back from Vegas, and we got to Sarasota, and we were looking at all these things. Because, when you start having a good idea, you start getting published in these places, everybody and their brother starts coming to you with ideas, right? Some of them do sound good, and then it sparks other ideas. So then one day, my brother and I sat down, and we just wrote down, we have a giant glass board, right? We wrote down all the ideas that we are currently having, all the unfinished projects and things that we have. And I'm like, damn, that filled up the entire glass board. And then we went down the list and say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are we for this and how well do we think it'll perform? Anything under 6, just completely erased from the board. Then we took a look at this list and be like, all right, what are the 5 things that we are going to actually do from this? Selected those 5 and said, for this entire year, we're not doing anything else. I don't care how good the idea is, because what most people don't understand is, dude, $1 million ideas come and go all the time. There's always a $1 billion idea that somebody has. And once in a lifetime opportunities actually come a lot more than you think. So we're just like, these are already 5 once in a lifetime opportunities. Screw anything else. Yeah. So that's how we said, we're going deep on this and nothing else.
What's the dynamic of you and your brother working together? Like, is one the visionary, one the integrator?
Yeah. So it's like, I do this. I'm on the podcast. I get in front of it. I speak to real estate agents and do everything as far as how to actually integrate it into the real estate industry, like the discernments of taking pure marketing and establishing the real estate presence. and communicating the message. Yeah. My brother is more on the back end, helping formulate the message, helping formulate our systems, formulate the processes. So that way it's like, hey, you want to create a system, you go to my brother, he'll bang it out with our team. And then how do you take this message of this system and articulate that properly to the agents? That's where I get into it.
Yeah. And do you think before AI, because this is something that, so you're 29, I'm 26. To most, we're young, but you said you've been in marketing, what, roughly 10 years?
I would say I've been in the industry for about 7 years now.
Okay. Yeah. So we were forced to learn copywriting, video. I mean, I did some video. I don't know how much you did. But we had to learn this stuff manually. Yeah. Do you think there is a danger or an advantage for, let's say, someone who's 16 to 17 right now, that ChatGPT is where they're starting?
Advantage. I feel like you could look at both sides to this, right?
Let's do both. Let's go danger first, advantage.
Let's go danger. Yeah. Danger, they don't actually know why these things work and the basic concepts of marketing. And they go into it thinking that ChatGPT knows it, right? Because you think that ChatGPT is all-knowing. It is this machine learning. I can ask you, what are the basic concepts of marketing? But it can pull from 10 different theories and then give you that concept, and they might not actually sync together. So like ChatGPT doesn't know what the best marketing is, but it knows based on what's online and what's given to it. It is only as good as what the online knowledge it is given. But for us, it's like, man, we've read books that like you can't even find online about marketing, the basic concept, propaganda, like all of these things. So it's like, I know what questions to ask it already. I've done my research and know what I'm looking to get it as a desired result. So the danger of it is relying on the intelligence of the machine learning before you are individually able to train it yourself.
Yeah. And so as you move forward, how do you kind of, I guess, sharpen both the AI knife and then the Nick knife?
Yeah. So I think that's a great question. I think I rely heavily on my research and development team. They do an amazing job at seeing what's new, how it works, how these things operate. And they bring it to me to make a discernment. I have to continue to learn marketing, how it works, and just get even deeper, and even deeper. So that way, as AI continues to evolve, like you have to have a basic knowledge of how marketing works to know how to actually use these tools. So they do go hand in hand. AI will undoubtedly continue to advance, and I just need to continue to work on my own advancement on marketing, just getting better and better at that.
Yeah, one of my favorite Elon quotes is, an engineer's worst mistake is solving a problem that didn't need solved.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, I think that's something that I try to make sure in marketing is, like you said, these things can do it, but then it's like, go back to square one, which is that even a task worth doing if it was an AI?
Exactly. It's like a lot of people, marketers, they try and create a problem for you. Are you feeling this, this, and this? And they're like, not really. Are you sure? But if you really think, like, dude, if you can't seriously sit down and say, here are the problems you're already facing, right? I think that's one thing my brother and I did a great job at is like, as we were getting started into this and started our company, we sat down with some of the top minds in the industry from all over the country, and we're just flies on the wall. And we're just asking, what are your problems? What are you dealing with? How can we help you deal with them? What if we did this, this, and this? Would that solve it? And just really understanding what are the problems of agents.
Yeah, and I think that's something I've had to learn the most. Like, it's crazy that I had to believe this. I didn't think people would want a director for videos.
Right?
It literally took probably 7 people begging me. They're like, dude, I like the scripts no matter how good they are. I need a human to ask me these questions. And I was like, yeah, I guess I can do that.
Yeah.
But like, what's something for you that you've been the most surprised that AI helps people with?
Surprised, I would say, so this is part of our training, so I guess it's not really AI in the sense. Okay. But for me, it's how many people don't know who their target audience is. Like clearly identify who your target audience is.
And not just, I want someone that buys and sells a home.
Exactly. Buying and selling. That's bullshit. That's not a good target audience. Even first-time home buyers. No. First-time millennial home buyers in Sarasota, Florida looking for their forever home. That's a good target audience. Yeah. And then they don't know what to do with it from there. I think like the biggest problem most agents face is they don't know who they're marketing to. They're just happy that things get out there. So their message never really comes across to anybody. It never solves a problem. If you don't know whose problems you're solving, you will never solve their problem.
What do you say to the people who are afraid to niche down?
You'd be surprised at how many people are in those niches. Yeah. Niche down, whatever. Yeah. Niche down. Like, you'd be surprised at how much better your content will hit, how much better like of an offer you're able to have. Because if I'm able to say, if you're looking for this, this, and this, I have the solution for you. That's powerful. So I like to say it like this, like, dude, the Taylor Swift concerts, right? Nobody in the world can deny that she nailed her target audience, right? Like, people will literally camp out for days, pay $30 for a beer, thousands of dollars for a ticket to go hear her sing about her ex-boyfriends. I'm not hating on it. She nailed who she's like, singing about what she's doing. Imagine if she got on stage and started doing like heavy metal, rock and roll. People would be confused. They wouldn't know what's going on. She has an audience.
Yeah.
Most people have a crowd.
It's funny because if you think about that and you were to tell someone, start a music career, talk about the pains of what a woman goes through, and she go, that's too neat, but it's not.
Yeah, and it's even more so like a teenage girl goes through. Like hers is even in like, it's more of like that. What do the teenage girls go through when they go through breakups, go through their boyfriends and do all these things? And she freaking nailed it. And she sings directly to them. And she did a great job at it and she hasn't switched up from it. So I think it's like, man, you just be surprised at what growing an audience of people can do for your business and life. Because then I know what kind of clients I'm dealing with. I know what problems you're dealing with. It's not a crapshoot every single time.
Yeah, and like I want to ask you about that because I appreciate you said when we got here is you're like, yeah, dude, I've been seeing your stuff more.
Yeah.
So for you, how has it been for you to know who you're talking to? Like, what things have you maybe had to step over the fear line and go, I'm Nick and I do this. And
yeah, because everybody has ideas and they tell you how you can break into this industry. You can break into this industry. Why aren't you doing this and that? And and then you see people online who seem like they're doing everything. And, for us, it's scary a little bit, to say this is it and cutting off other literally streams of income, other people who have offered us contracts. I'm like, we just don't do that. Can I charge you for it? Yes. But then I'm just creating stress in my own life. We are looking for solo agents looking to scale their business. That's it. Solo real estate agents anywhere in the country that are looking to scale their business. We got the perfect systems and product for you.
And how much easier is it for you to speak on that when you're that direct?
Oh, so much easier because I know who you are. I know what your problems are. And I created a system just for you. Yeah. It's not for them. It's not for these big ass brokers. It's not for the agents on teams. I'm looking for solo real estate agents looking to scale their business. Yeah. Simple. If you're looking for me, I'm looking for you.
Yeah. One of the hardest things that I learned at that conference was like, what did Ryan say to me? So I had like 45 minutes with Ryan.
Yeah.
And when he was looking at my page, one of the questions he asked that hurt my feelings was, how stupid do you think your future customers are? And I'm like, what do you mean, dude? I don't. And he goes, well, it seems like you're explaining how to buy your product, but I don't really see you talking to anything they're going through. And that was probably the biggest shift I've had because while it's easy for me to tell clients or people we work with that, there's never anyone telling me that.
Yeah.
And so then in the last few months, I've really just dialed in on like, I know who I'm talking to and I'm going to be direct with it. And it's scarier, but you saw it, others are seeing it more, and the numbers show the more specific you talk, the easier it is to reach that person.
Yeah, and it's like you just know who you're speaking to, so then you know what content you can create, you know what problems you can solve, and say, if you're going through this, this, and this, I have something for you. And for the people, I might only get 5 people from that, but that's people that are like, that is me, I want to work with you, and they're excited to work with you.
Yeah. What do you think is one of the things that when we talk about the night AI took over, the last thing I actually found safety in was a personal brand. Because there was kind of this moment where I realized editing's going to get better. Copywriting's going to get better. Anything that is a manual task is going to be better done by a robot than myself. But what a robot can't be is uniquely Alex. And so I actually saw a personal brand as a safety move to not get replaced by AI.
That's interesting. I didn't think about it that way.
Because I've ran this content agency, let's call it, since 2020. And I didn't make my own content until 23. I was doing it for you, for everyone else. And then I was like, but the hard thing I had to accept was like, I don't want to start at step 1 when everyone else is at step 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But there was this freedom moment where I was like, if I'm uniquely myself, that can't be copied. So how do you keep the human side with all of the robot services?
I think that's a great question. And for us, it's our main belief as an AI certified agent is to spend less time behind a computer and more time communicating with clients. So there's like 2 different sides you can take. And it's going to be a global almost war, if you will. A team AI, a team replace human versus team human. So team replace human, literally replacing human jobs, replacing human connections, human experiences, going to what people don't understand is technology is all about conveniences, right? How much more convenient can we make your life? And how many more conveniences will you continue to accept that technology can replace? So like, for example, like here's going to be a future for people, right? They're not going to take vacations. They're going to put on their VR headset and they're going to say, why would I travel in the air? Why would I pay for a hotel? Why would I do all those things that are so inconvenient when I could just put on my VR headset and go anywhere in the world? Conveniences, right? Same with AI. Why would I sit there and want to cook or figure out how to cook something in my fridge? They've already came out with things where the refrigerator will read what's in your fridge for you, and then it will come up with different things for you to cook. And there will be a future where something can cook for you. Conveniences. And it's just seeing how far will the humans, us, allow us to convenience their life.
Yeah.
And then team human is, how do I use these robots to go experience life more? So instead of saying, man, I could just put on a VR headset, it's like, how can I use AI to shrink the amount of time it takes to do tasks so I can go talk to people more?
Yeah.
So I can go out more. What used to take me 5 hours, and at the end of the night, I'm too tired. I can't go see Alex. I can't go see my kids. Now can get done in 20 minutes. So I can go play with my kids more and do these things. So it's going to be team human versus team replace human. And there's going to be a lot of people who want to replace the human interaction and things because that comes with more control. And then there's the team human side, which can actually, technology was meant to make our lives simpler. And that's what I think AI is doing. It makes our life simpler now. It got to a point where technology was complicating shit.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be simpler. So then the basic question is, how will humans respond? And if it's anything like how we treat social media, I'm not too confident for some people because it was meant to connect more people and to make us more connected.
And some people, it's
exactly. So it's like, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are replaced in literally the human experience of life with AI, VR, and all these things.
Yeah, so my dad was a programmer for Bridgestone. So his job was basically get humans out of the factory. That was what it was for 20 years. And at the time, I mean, he was hated. It was, you're killing all these jobs, you're taking work away from people. But I think you and I are at a point now in 2024 where we can say, like, it's going to seem cruel and unusual that we had humans using those machines, losing limbs.
Possibly, yeah. And then, it also creates a lot of jobs. Like, who's going to build the robots? Who's going to repair them? Who's going to be able to do these things? So, as many jobs as AI is taking, it's going to create a lot of jobs as well. It just comes down to, for basic humans that are just outside of this thing and people, how much are you going to allow it to convenience your life?
How many new jobs do you think there are going to be in 10 years from now?
Millions of new jobs, ones that people don't even see right now. Again, it just comes down to your depth of vision, where there's all these things that are happening. There's going to be millions of new jobs that are created because of AI. I mean, Stanford came out with the AI certified engineer. So that's a whole nother field that they're going to be jumping into. And there's a lot of different certifications and things you can get now. Coding can now be done by my grandma if she knows how to just ask ChatGPT a simple question. So there's going to be millions of new jobs created. And there's just going to be a lot of people who get butthurt and wait too long and just gonna lose them.
Yeah, because that's something that I try to always look, how's it going to be better? And one of the things I think that's going to happen is, I agree, there's always going to be the people that are like, this is stupid, I don't like it. But the positive is, the faster we can get rid of the things that humans don't want to do. Like, we all have to be honest, if it's getting replaced, that's because someone saw value in replacing it. And then if money follows it, that means more than one person saw the value in replacing it. But what I think that opens up is, like, you and I right now, like, transparently 20 years ago, what we would do is not considered work. It'd be considered fun. Yeah. But it's now something where people are like, no, I need this. I see value in it, and I'm willing to put my hard-earned money into it to get me something I want now. Yeah. And, it's just going to be a different world. This is literally the biggest advancement in human technology in history, existence. Again, this is artificial intelligence, guys. This is not sham wow popping up saying it revolutionized technology. This is artificial intelligence and something that you'll be able to use for the rest of your life, human existence. It will continue to advance. And you just have to ask yourself, when are you going to want to jump into it and utilize it? And so obviously I know you do it all for real estate agents and that's where the money is made. But to the average person who, let's say they're working a job, maybe they're not even entrepreneurial, what do you think are some first steps they can take to reduce the fear of AI? Actually use it. Yeah.
Most people.
Like, what do you think? Like, kind of like, hey, try to make me a grocery list based off.
Yeah, go on ChatGPT and like just take some things that you normally have to sit there and think about. To like go to your fridge and be like, hey, I got this, this, and this in my fridge. What can I cook?
Yeah. Simple.
Right? Like, that's one way to utilize it. You can also just figure out, hey, what are some of the best places I can take a trip to? Hey, I'm feeling this, I'm a little stressed out right now. What are different ways I can relax? What are some of the top different ways that I can relax? And just like and there's actually something brand new that came out called the ChatGPT store. This just launched 2024 on January 12th this year. So it's going to put about 80% of AI startups out of business, right? Because I'm sure you've seen ads for AI more than anything before in our life. There's like thousands of AI ads and startup companies popping up. And it wasn't the 16-year-old Indonesian kid who spent billions of dollars to create his own AI. Most of it was just a wrapped up ChatGPT.
It was a service that was really ChatGPT. They were just removing manual steps.
Exactly. But now ChatGPT came out with their store. So now for $20 a month, you have a whole Netflix library of all of these AI companies. You can use Canva on ChatGPT without paying Canva now. You can use 11 Labs and create another voice on ChatGPT. You can literally just go in there and say grocery list, and there'll be 20 GPTs built to help you with your grocery list. Yeah. So like go there and start just exploring and trying different things.
Yeah. And so once they're getting comfortable with that, let's say someone's in a job where they're worried, oh, there's no way this stays around for longer. What are some of the tips that you would maybe give them where they can reflect on what are my actual human skill sets that with a robot are helpful versus this is a skill set that's not really worth pouring more effort into. It's probably going to be something that a machine can do.
That's tough because you got to get into the mindset of almost treating like every person who's in those positions has to think of themselves as an entrepreneur, as someone who's in control of their own thing, and even just a salesman. How will you be able to sell yourself to the next job? I would go to YouTube University, start like looking up your profession and seeing what can you learn with AI for it. Yeah. You know, there's like millions and millions of like minutes of video that you can go on there and learn things. I see like Stanford and different places offering free AI classes like online. Yeah. And so like there's so many different ways you can use it. It's just, do you really want to learn it or not? You know, I would actually suggest if anyone's out there really trying to figure out what they want to do, go to The Strangest Secrets by Earl Nightingale, old ass video from the 50s, and we'll teach you the strangest thing about life. You get what you think about most of the time. And you just got to think about what you really want.
And okay, so I've never heard of this before. Give me a breakdown of what that is.
Yeah, so this was the video that changed everything for me because I never listened to any motivational speaker. I never listened to any business person before. I thought it was all fake. I thought it was not real. I'm like, all right, yeah, somebody starts talking about, well, you get what you think about most of the time. I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude, get out of here, right? I watched this video during one of my trainings when I started at the call center. It's Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret. And he just talks about the strangest thing in life is that you get what you think about most of the time. And it's not just, oh, you think about it and it happens. It's like, no, you just consistently think about things. You consistently take action. And wouldn't you know it, over time, because most people don't even know what a successful life looks like. They've never sat down and defined what success looks like for them. They never sat down and thought about, what do I really want out of life? Most people recycle the same 12 months until they die.
So what was yours? So what changed in your belief after you listened to that?
That I had no idea what I wanted. My biggest thing was I realized, holy shit, this stuff actually makes sense. Like, it is the strangest thing. You get what you think about most of the time. And it's like, I made the realization that I had no idea what I wanted out of life. And that was scary. I was 21, 22.
Okay.
And then it was the scariest thing, but the most exciting thing. Because I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm 100% responsible for getting to myself to where I'm at this point in life. I have to take accountability for my past. But that also means I could take accountability for my future. So if I was responsible and accountable to the reason I'm at right here, damn, that sucks because I did some things I'm not proud of. But that also means I'm in control of what I can do moving forward. So that's the most scary and exciting.
And so what was the life you wanted? So how did you kind of go from, I'm guessing it was, I don't really know what I want.
Yep.
And then what were some of the first things that popped up where you're like, I want this?
I wanted to get respected in business. I wanted to know what I was talking about. I wanted to do something that gave me energy. That was like one of my big things because I always have a lot of energy, and then it can get, if I don't do something I love, then it's just like, you just keep going down a path that just sucks.
And you felt that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I felt that. I was a day away from working in the factory, but before I took that other job.
Really?
Yeah. Day away. I applied for about 6 different sales jobs. None of them would even see me because I had no experience. And then I was literally a day away from working in a factory. It was Sunday at 9 p.m. I get a call back from one of them. It was actually my cousin's husband. It was one I'd even applied for. Said, hey, I'm actually looking for an ISA at this company. He's like, can you talk? I'm like, yep, I can talk. I told my buddy, I'm like, I got to go. Got out of the car, literally went over to his place right away. Took the job, quit the factory job, and never looked back. Actually was kicked out of my house at the time. I was living with my mom and dad, and they're like, if you don't take this factory job, you're out. I'm like, I'm out.
So let's go into that, because that's something I know a lot of people suffer with. You obviously had to make a decision that I, as Nick, know what I want, and the people who loved you the most and catered to you the most didn't understand it.
Yeah. I mean, they were doing what was best for me. They put up with me for many years when I didn't know what the hell I wanted. And this was the first time I just felt like this was the right thing to do. It was probably the first time I was able to stand up, look my dad in the eyes, and say, then I'm out. I'll leave. I didn't really know what I was getting into, but I know I didn't want to work in the factory. Nothing against people who do it. It just wasn't going to be for me. Yeah. And I really didn't I've never did a sales job. So, like I really didn't know what I was getting into, but I was just like, you know what? If those are my 2 options, I just know if I go into that factory, I'm not coming out.
And how pivotal was that moment for your success, if you have to look back on it?
Oh, it was everything. Because if not, I'd still be at the factory right now.
Yeah,
I would, because like you get a job like that, and then it's just you go there, you get benefits. It's a career.
If someone feels like they're in the quicksand of their career, what advice do you have for them? They're in the factory, they're in the school, they're in whatever it is that you would have been in.
Stop living life so casual. You have one life. Is that what you really want out of life? There are other options out there. There are other ways to do it. There's no get rich quick scheme. There's no one thing that will change your life. There's no opportunity that is coming to get you. You just have to make a decision. What do you really want out of life? And to most people, it's just stop living fucking casually. Living like you're going to live tomorrow. Living like you're going to live to be 100 and be able to do all these things.
Yo, you don't know.
And even so, like a lot of times people's biggest regret is the opportunities missed and things that they didn't do. And it's at the end of the day, are you happy with where you're at? If not, do something about it.
One of the things I heard you say is that you wanted respect in business. Was that external or internal or both?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I didn't really know, but I just felt like, dude, once I start getting around business people and seeing some movers and shakers, I'm like, man, that's cool. There's some badasses, right? Like, and I want to be like that. I want to have that swag when you walk into a room and people look, they're like, oh yeah, I know who that is. Hell yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want that, right? When you're in business, you want to be known. That's a big thing.
I think not denying that is one of the best steps any entrepreneur can take.
Like, dude, overcoming obscurity is one of the hardest things to do in business. Just becoming known is over half the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that quote? It's basically obscurity is forever, but fame is rented. Acknowledging that we are here for a very short time. Anything you earn is not permanent, and then you go back to never being remembered again.
Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah, and I think it's funny that a lot of people in business, because we're both in the marketing space. Everyone hears it where it's like this is the funniest objection I get.
What's that?
Well, what if I post a video, it doesn't get that many views, and then everyone makes fun of me? It's like, how is everyone going to make fun of you if it got no views?
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Oh, it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, let's just focus on getting the attention first.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, my shitty video is better than your no video anyways.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
That's a big one I want to start on.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
to all the people that might be listening right now and they're like, man, I like what these guys are saying about marketing. I agree it's something I've known I've needed to do for years. Like, where do you think most people are actually getting caught up, whether it's creating content, posting more job listings, posting more house listings? Like, what is the emotional thing that they're not going through?
Just stop being a little bitch.
Yeah.
No, seriously, like, get over it. I mean, there's no magic pill. I think that's what people are looking for. What's the magic fairy dust I'll sprinkle on this video or my mindset that will get me to doing videos? Stop being a little bitch. Just do it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're worried about what you look like and what you sound like, that's what you look like and sound like. Right?
That's the thing.
Hate to break it to you, but that's it.
I always ask people, I go, when was the last time you got paid? And it kind of throws them off. And they'll go, oh, I closed a deal last week. I'm like, do you realize you look the exact same when you got paid that you do right now? And then it's like, oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah, and it's just like, just do it. Like I that is a good question because people always ask, like, well, what can I do to overcome it? just fucking do it. Like,
And do you think it's actually a very lazy disguise for I don't want to do the real work?
oh, absolutely. That's the thing. Most people just don't want to do the work. They're looking for the magic pill where it's like, and then all these companies, you'll never have to pick up the phone again. If any company's telling you not to pick up the phone, don't listen to them because you have to do that to get business. Yeah. So I think it's just a disguise for the lazy people, and it's an excuse. Like, they'll give me every excuse in the book not to get on video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think are the things personality-wise of the people who have best adapted to your program? Like, what are the signs of a winner for you?
They don't ask many questions. Not like getting into it. They need to figure out if it's for them, right? Mm-hmm. But when we get into it, I just say, this is what you need to do. They just say, okay, right? You hired and you paid me to help you do this thing. Why the fuck are you going to sit there and question the person you just hired and told you to do these things? This is what you need to do. And then on top of that too, don't come back next week asking for more if you didn't already do the things I told you to do. Yeah. Why? Because this won't work unless you do this. So like, just not really questioning it and just doing the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you mentioned being in a lot of masterminds. Is that a skill that you yourself have had to work on as well?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just sitting there and I just shut up. I know it doesn't seem like it sometimes, but like I just sat in there and shut up and listened to all these people who knew more than me speak. And then what I would do is I would ask them questions about their problems, why they got to that point. But then I sat there. There was actually a mastermind we went to in Key West. It was before my brother and I started our business. And we were sitting there and then like we listened to all these people say these things and we're like, all right, here's our $1 million idea. And my brother's like, whoa. He's like, they just told us how to make $1 million doing this. What makes you think you can do it better? Like, show me proof. I'm like, I got none. He's like, why don't we just do exactly what they said? And I was like, wow.
And you're not the first guy that said this on the podcast, but it seems like one of the most motivating moments for every successful person I've met is they saw someone successful and realized like they're just a person too.
Yeah.
They were just another guy who got the same information I now have.
Yeah. And that's like, why am I going to recreate the wheel? This guy just told me how to make $1 million. Why am I going to go do it different? I don't get paid more to figure out another way to make $1 million. Like, oh, you figured out yourself? Good job. Like, I could actually do it quicker, faster, and have a mentor. I'm going to take that way.
Yeah. So with mentorship, you've mentioned a lot of masterminds. Is that you or your brother's thing? Who brought that into the
A little bit of both. The space we're in now is a little bit different with mentors because no one's mastered the AI space. We created the world's first AI certified agent. So what am I going to do? Go to the person who did it? Like that's been our space.
Yeah, you need to call Sam.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'll call Sam. Yeah. We do have a couple friends, but not quite that high up.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. We've had a lot of mentors we continue to do. It's just more on the business side of things.
Yeah, like operations, structure.
Yeah, and just, making decisions. It's stick to your core values. Don't go away from them. Get to your beliefs down, and everybody needs a coach.
Yeah. What are some of the things socially that maybe aren't the most business related, but funny uses or just uses of AI that maybe people don't realize are out there?
That you can create raps and like create music and create poems and create like.
You've got to know what's his name, Steven. The realtor guy? He takes any rap song and makes it real estate related. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't think I do.
I think it's Steven Diaz. All the trending audios. He'll like redo a Jack Harlow song.
I think I might have heard of him or something. Yeah.
He's made a whole page. Basically, what he'll do is he'll take any trending song. I know he's ChatGPT in it, and he'll say, "Write these to be realtor related."
Oh yeah, that's all you need to do, and like stuff like that. Some of the fun ones I do is one called HeyGen, where you can like create a video avatar that looks like you and sounds like you. I sent it to my family; they had no idea it wasn't me. Like that's how freaking good it is. It sounded like me. It looked like me. It has the hand motions and everything. So that one was pretty fun.
What about, did you hear about the story of the girl who created a AI version of the chatbot? So I think she was like an OnlyFans girl. And what she did is basically created, so it wasn't even like nude content or anything. Yeah. It was literally just you would pay, I think, $1 a message to get her personality to message you. And she made, I think it was $1 million a day in revenue by day 5.
I bet she did. Yeah. There's some powerful things you can do with it. Some very unethical things you could do with it, which I will put that under it.
Yeah.
So like, that's where it all comes down to it too. It's like, I'm not getting into any of that OnlyFans or anything like that, but it's just like, I like conducting ethical business and things that can be done right. There's a lot of ways we can automate things and we can sell people a lot of different things, especially with AI. It's the wild, wild west right now, but it's like, I don't know, you got to have core values and
Do you ever worry about that? Like that, I think one thing we can all agree on is there's a lot of men that are getting stronger, better, taking more risk, but there's no doubt a massive amount of the population is paralyzed right now. And do you worry that like the AI girlfriend generation will become a thing? Or do you think that's just something that if it happens, it's going to happen?
If it happens, it's gonna happen. It's just the quote: lions don't pay attention to sheep, all that stuff. And it's not I'm this alpha lion or anything, because I don't really care about any of that.
Yeah.
To me, one of my favorite quotes from my mentor: "It's not a distraction if you don't pay attention to it."
Yeah.
So all that shit's just a distraction. So I'm just not gonna pay attention to it.
Yeah.
So can it happen? Yeah. Will it happen? Maybe. We'll see. Yeah. Is it gonna affect my life? Not at all. So
yeah.
Let them have it. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think so you've done a great job of what I would call adapting to the opportunity as you see it. And one of the big struggles that I've talked about on this podcast is a lot of young guys just not knowing where to go. Yeah. Maybe they're skilled, they could do all these things, but they just feel stuck of where do I go?
Yeah.
What advice would you give for them if maybe they're like, I know this traditional college job thing isn't there for me. Like, do you think like what you did with sales was a great starting point?
Yeah. So I would say find someone who has what you want, work for them for free, work for them somehow, get around them more, and just follow that person. Find someone who has what you want, both on the personal side and the business side. I don't care if they're online. I don't care if it's a sales job. I don't care what job it is. Find someone who has what you want and follow them, be around them, ask them questions, and just do exactly what they tell you to do. Why? Because they've already done it, and we call it seeing around the corner. I can see as far as I can, but they've around the corner. They can tell me different problems and things that I just don't even know exists. Find someone who can help you see around the corner. They call it the plus, minus, and even. You always need someone who's pushing you and who's somewhere where you want to be, someone who's on your level, and then someone you can get back to.
Yeah, it's like the rule of 33. I've heard it that way.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, 33 above, 33 the same, 33 below.
Yep.
So what are you most optimistic about with AI? Like to look at a really bright future, let's maybe do 2-year, 5-year, 10-year.
2-year optimistic. All the training that people can learn about right now. There's a lot of different trainings you can learn, and also getting your ChatGPT to do a lot of different things for you. 5-year, it's going to be more so of like, it's going to be exciting to see how AI is going to be able to start thinking and how it's going to be trained to actually think. 10 years, it's actually, there's going to be robots doing things for us. There's going to be robots that you see. I believe it's going to be AI automate, like things that are in your everyday life and accessible to everyday Americans and humans, that they're going to be making our life convenient. And it's just going to be really interesting to see how they get integrated into our normal life, into the social life, your at-home life. Like what people don't realize is the Roomba, the thing that goes around your house, that's AI. Yeah. So like you already have AIs cleaning your house for you, AI robots cleaning your house. Just seeing what happens next. I believe within 10 years, we're going to start seeing it in everyday life.
Yeah. I think that's the other thing too, is a lot of people don't take credit for what is already AI.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Dude, like that's why I tell people, imagine if they marketed it, get an AI robot that will clean your house for you. People would freak out. But get a Roomba where you don't have to do anything and it'll clean your house for you. Oh, it's convenient. Yeah. Sold. I know one person that they got 4 Roombas just going around their house at all times.
Packaging is something that just popped in my head because I think you killed it with that. So I got to give you your props of like the AI certified agent was genius because like one, no one did it. And 2, if Stanford can do it, why can't you? Yep. And I think the bigger thing is, one, why did you see the opportunity that colleges weren't providing? And why did you feel justified to teach it?
Oh, good question. So I saw how the certified AI was replacing degrees, replacing jobs, replacing people, and seen as the next evolution of the fields. And then I'm like, real estate agents are going to be replaced by agents who use AI. And then I started thinking, well, who's going to be the first one to create this? I didn't see it out there. So I'm like, why not us? Also, we spent years in the top masterminds traveling the country, learning from the best marketers in the game, the best branders in the game, the best lead generation people in the game. So we knew how to do all of these things. And I have an entire research and development staff. And you know what? We dove deeper, longer than most people do. It's been myself and my brother running our business. We're both single. So we spend every waking moment learning our craft. And I looked at it like someone's got to do it. If not us, then who? I believe we're ethical in the stances that we take on it. I'm not on team replace human. I'm not on team replace realtor, real estate agent. So we're on team like help real estate agent. So I looked at it as like I don't know anyone else in the country that was in the position that we were that can make the shift that we were able to in the time. So I was like, you know what? Let's make it happen.
And were you a college guy or no?
I went for like half a year, played a little college football, but that was like,
Where'd you go?
Ashland.
And what was your experience with college, like from a academic perspective?
Not very well. I went there to play football, not to go to school. I didn't know why I was going to school, what my process was. So I was there. I was actually taking Calc 2 in my very first year because I was always very good at math. I was 2 years ahead of math and would just like ace everything. And I get to college, it's like, hey, here's a five-page problem. If you get one thing wrong, the teacher marked the whole thing wrong. And I'm just sitting there like, dude, I did not come here for this. So I dropped out of there. Half went to Tri-C, like some classes here or there, then quit all that, then went into a bunch of different things.
So you didn't feel like it was actually prepping you for what college is sold as?
No, dude, it's mainly a joke, but that's...
Yeah. No, this is a big thing I talk about in the podcast. So
okay,
we
yeah.
can go deep on it. Because like a lot of people at the time thought I was crazy. I was 3 years in, and then I dropped out. And the analogy I use for everyone, because like a lot of family thought it was crazy, and I had friends that were like, dude, you should have just finished. But it's like the analogy I give is, let's say you're dating a girl and you guys get married, and then it's year 4, and then year 5 is your anniversary. You find out she's been cheating on you for 4 years. You're not going to go to year 5.
Just finish. Yeah, right. Just finish the 5 years.
Yeah, you're not going to do that. And so for me, like I was telling you in the room earlier, like I'm seeing teachers get laid off. They're moving back home. I'm paying thousands of dollars, and they go, hey, you just get an A. And it's like, I didn't pay thousands of dollars to just get an A.
Yeah.
And so for me, I realized it wasn't teaching anything that was applicable. And especially now, the whole cycle of it takes a year to get a textbook approved. If that was the case for AI, how far behind would college be?
They're going to be behind. Any marketing degree is going to be obsolete by the time they graduate.
Yeah.
Literally obsolete. Every year they're going to be learning something new. And then by the time they graduate, dude, imagine if you invested all that money that you're learning into masterminds and travel the country.
So that's actually
the rooms you can get in. Yeah.
So this year was the year where I matched how much I spent on college with coaching, and
Dude.
I can guarantee you the coaching and mastermind.
100%. And it's like, why would I go to a college with a person who earns X amount of money when I can learn from this billionaire how to do it?
And I think, okay, that's something that I think a lot of people feel guilt with that I've met, but it's a real question you have to ask. It's like, you're not going to take advice about fitness from a fat person.
Yeah.
You're not going to take advice about marriages from someone with 10 divorces. So why in business would you take advice from someone who's barely scraping past 40 a year?
Yeah. And it's just... Again, why would I listen to someone who doesn't want what I have? There's not one professor in the country that has the life that I want. So why would I sit there and listen to him? There's not one professor that earns the amount of money that I would want to earn. So why would I sit there and listen to him? And then why would I pay X amount of money when I could spend this much in masterminds and get that much more out of it, make connections, real world connections? Oh, you make a lot of connections in high school. Okay. You party with a shit ton of people. Yeah. Congratulations on your fucking connections.
Yeah. Herbosi made a great video recently where he compares the get a job route entrepreneur versus go to college. And I think the only thing that's justified is like, yeah, fraternity life is maybe a little more organized, but in every other sector, like, the connections you make in college aren't the connections you're making at a mastermind.
Dude, and it's like you make connections in college and all of a sudden you got 10 different friends in 10 different industries. Okay, congrats. Like,
and it's not applicable. Like what?
No.
Because this is another thing too. Like a lot of people, you know, with a shortage mindset would be like, why would you have someone else on in marketing? But it's like, to everyone watching, we do very different things, even though it looks the same on the surface. But it's also, you and I can have a deeper conversation than someone who is just in engineering, for example.
Absolutely. And it's just like, dude, we niche down so much. There is nobody who does what we do. And there's not many people who do what you do, or anybody does exactly what you do. Yeah. So like the marketing field is like, dude, it's just the law of abundance.
Yeah. Because, and that's something that I want a lot of people watching this to understand about how much money is out there. You grow up thinking, oh, 50K a year, 60K a year, that'd be great. Like, how overwhelmed were you when you, like, let's think to your first mastermind where you went, shit, there's a lot of money out here.
Yeah, you know, it's just realizing, like you said, they're just people too. Anybody can make this amount of money. And when you actually have some of those days where, like, the commas start adding up, you're like, wow, this is real. But it's also, my brother and I were talking about this too. Sometimes we get into this because it's all on the computer, right? Like, I haven't seen that amount of money stacked in front of me. So sometimes, like, oh, we made that much money. That's cool. If I saw that money in front of me, I'd be like, holy shit. You know, and sometimes you pay this much to go to masterminds and things. If I had to sit there and count the $100 bills to pay to go to these masterminds, I don't know if I always would have done it. right? Or paying for services online. I just think that's a very interesting thing as an online marketer and business person. I haven't actually had someone hand me money personally to do anything.
I think the closest I've had was 2 clients handed me checks. And I was like, sorry, buddy, it's a Stripe link next month. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just interesting how that works too. It's just all on the computer.
Because this is another one I want to go deep on. Do you see AI changing currency?
Yeah. Not up front, maybe down the line.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because one of the things that I'm finding very interesting, the more I go into like the digital space where it's like, you know, we're growing social media accounts and things like that. The most interesting example I heard Patrick Bet-David talk about was, I believe he offered Tucker Carlson, I think it was 500 million.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a big, no, it was 100 million over 5 years. So 20 million a year to be on his network.
Yeah.
And he turned that down to be on Twitter, which in exchange was 1 retweet from Elon a week. And what that kind of showed me was like there was a higher currency in one person's retweet than a $20 million a year contract.
But is there? That's his perception on it.
It is his perception.
That's his perception on it. And what his end goal is and what he can do. A retweet from Elon is a big deal. Yeah. And it's just, that's his perception. That's like when people are like, would you rather take $500,000 or a dinner with Jay-Z? And people are saying a fucking dinner with Jay-Z and they thought they were smart. It's like, no, you're an idiot if you're not taking the money. So, like, I don't know. We'll see. It's one of those things. Maybe. We'll see. It's like one of the stories my brother tells this proverb or whatever it is, or like this Chinese thing, where it's like this guy has a son, right? And then his son is riding a horse, and then his son breaks his leg. And then all the people in the place are, no. Here's how it starts. This guy has a horse, and the horse escapes from his stable. And then all the people come to the guy and said, oh, no, that's terrible. He's like, maybe. We'll see. And then what happens is the horse somehow gets in the band of these 5 other wild horses, and they all come back, and now he has 6 horses there. And everyone's like, oh, you're so lucky. And he's like, maybe. We'll see. And then his son is out riding one of these horses, and the guy's son falls off the horse and breaks his leg. And then all the village people are like, that must be terrible now. That's bad news. And he says, maybe. We'll see. And then a war breaks out, and all the young sons are called to arms and go to war. But that guy's son broke his leg, so he can't go. So all the village people say, you're so lucky. He's like, maybe. We'll see. So it's just one of those things where it's bad. There's no such thing as bad news or good news. It's just news, and you just don't know what the future holds.
Do you think that's been a huge asset to you and your brother to think that way?
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's no such thing as good news or bad news.
It's just how you handle it.
There's literally not it is just news. Your perception of it is the only way you can take it.
Yeah. So is this a lot of stuff you've learned through other people, through a lot of the masterminds you've been in?
Books. That's like a lot of that stuff is through books, just reading.
What's one book that you think's changed your thinking the most?
Thinking? Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
And what changed the most?
Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Just really understanding that most people, if not every single person on this planet, is not thinking about me at all. Meaning, if I put on a blue shirt today, they're not thinking, why didn't he wear the white shirt? They don't even know those other shirts that I was thinking about wearing exist. And I'm sitting there thinking like, oh man, they're looking at what shirt I am. In reality, they're thinking about what shirt they're wearing. Everyone's just thinking about themselves. Yeah. So like, just stop worrying about that. They're thinking about themselves anyways.
And how many books are you reading a year on average?
I couldn't really tell you. I am not like I don't read complete books. I read up until a point, and then I pick up this book and I read a little bit of this one. What I'm feeling today, you know, we have a library, a pretty good sized library at home.
So I pick up books. Are like holding and reading the books.
Yep, I like holding and reading the books. Yeah, and then I mark up the books. I read through them. I'm like, oh, I kind of like this book. I check out the chapters. I'm like, that's what I want to read today. And I go through it. I'm not like a sit down and read an entire book. Yeah, I don't think I've read an entire book through and through. I pick things here or there.
And so when you're reading for function. I want to take something away from this app, apply it in my life.
Yeah, we actually have a room in our house where you can't bring your phone in there. There's no TV in there. It's just 2 chairs, the books, and if you go in there, that's all you can do.
Yeah, how do you control your dopamine? So we're both in technology. Like, is that something you try to actually protect a little bit?
Yeah, I look at social media as my CRM. It's not social media. If I want to do social media, I just don't do social media. I use my social CRM. That's what they're there for. They're there for me to post, get more content out, message people, and use it as a CRM.
And how many people do you think would be bummed out to realize if you're not using this for business, you are the product?
All of them.
Yeah, when I was in Facebook ads, that was when I really understood what are these apps created for and who were they created for.
Well, it's just like the one video when Mark Zuckerberg was under trial. They're like, "Well, Mark, how do you guys make money?" He's like, "Senator, we run ads." Like that's how they make money on a free app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what's a tip you would give to someone who maybe they have an unhealthy relationship with social media and they're an entrepreneur?
Delete it.
Take some time off.
Delete it for a week. You don't really need it. You're telling yourself you do, but if you have an unhealthy relationship, that means you're not making money on it. Delete it for a week and then see how you feel after that.
Yeah, and when they come back, what would be some like good ways to look at it?
Look at it as your CRM. Try to erase the mentality of it being social media, and look at it as your CRM. You could also see your screen time on your phone. Have a certain amount that you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when that happens, do you think it is easier to have a good relationship with social media when you're creating versus consuming?
Yeah. I mean, you're either a creator or a watcher. You know, you either create content or you watch other people's. Which one do you want to be? Or I like to say a creator or a hater. Because in some way, you're hating on this person's speech on here, and this is stupid, and you're sharing it with all your friends. Or you're hating, can you believe they said that? Yeah, that's exactly what they want you to do. So you're either creating content that people are watching, or you're watching content and hating.
Do you ever get people that will complain to you that they keep getting a certain type of content because they don't understand
that the more that they watch it and complain about it, the more it pops up? Oh, yeah. Like, this is all this one shows me. And that's what's unique about the algorithms. It's like you get what you that's what people don't understand. You get what you think about most of the time. If you don't want to think about something, that's still you thinking about it. If you oppose this view, that's still you thinking about it and consuming it. So social media kind of works like your brain. Even if you say, I don't want to think about this, that's thinking about it. Yeah. So you get what you think about most of the time.
Yeah, I always crack up with that where, you know, like I get these guys in their 50s and 60s and they go, all these apps show me as ass. And I'm like,
oh, there's a reason.
Yeah, I wonder why that's happening to you and no one else.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, man, this has been an awesome hour. Like, I just want to thank you. For everyone out there, give yourself a little plug. Who do you help and how do you help them?
We help solo agents looking to scale their real estate business. And we tell people this. You can go a lot of places to learn AI, but there's one place you learn to take over with it. And that's with us.
Dude, thank you for coming on.
I appreciate you, man.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Guys, that was episode 11. We will see you next week.